GAIJIN is wrong about some of the stuff that they've added already to the game, and the step that they're taking, they need to change a few things. With the arrival of the next major update, we're seeing the JF-17, which is a top-tier event vehicle, or squadron vehicle, that gets Fox 3s. Was the second only ever free vehicle that had the arrival of Fox 3s. The F-14A IRAF was the first one, and we saw that just a few weeks ago. So there's a few vehicles that are premiums that are, you don't have to grind for them, you just have to pay money for, and they should be getting Fox 3s. Now, the first one on the list we're going to talk about is the North Drop F-20 Tiger Shark. And for all of the stuff we're talking over today, I'm just going to be reading some stuff on the forums and just talking about what people have already said and just brushing over the fact that we should see Fox 3s in this patch for some of these aircraft. I know Matt AWG made a video talking about some stuff changes in the dev blogs or whatever. I'm not going to dive super deep into it because I'm not that nerdy, but we will cover over the aircraft and if they actually should get those Fox 3s. So the first one up is the American F-20 Tiger Shark. It was the first rank 8 top tier premium, and it came to the US in the Seek and Destroy major update. Now, as this guy's saying here, he wanted to check with evidence and talk a little bit more about the subject and invited us to participate. Keep in mind that the F-20 now in 12.0 will be facing planes with better IR missiles than yours, with IRCM missiles, with better radar missiles than yours, with active missiles, and will have more flare capabilities than the F-20 and better maneuverability. So it is not advisable to buy this record, is what he's saying. The F-20 has reportedly been equipped and tested with active missiles. This upgrade is significant in the defense and security domain, greatly enhancing the aircraft's offensive and defensive capabilities. So he's got a few things attached here about the F-20. Here, showing out it can carry the AIM-120, has on paper here, and pictures of it here as well. Now, the thing about this picture here is the F-20 was never fitted with live-firing AMRAAMs. This is I don't want to say fake, a dummy munition or a dummy round. It's probably just filled with concrete or steel, but it is the weight of the AMRAAM, or of the style of the weight, and it is tested and could be shown that it can carry it. Here's another picture of it. So obviously now you can take into consideration that the F-20 does actually carry AMRAAMs. No reason why GAIJIN can't add it with the AMRAAM. There was a version that actually, upgraded version, the third model or the third plane that they made of this, they made 3, that actually did have the aircraft upgrade to carry the AMRAAM. Also, I've also seen pictures of the F-20 with GBU-16 style weapon. I believe it was a GBU-16 that could be fitted on the pylon right here, and it could have a targeting pod underneath each of the air intakes. So that is something to keep in mind as, a premium that could get Fox 3s. Is this something that GAIJIN is ready to add? I think it has to be, because now we're going to have 2 free vehicles that were completely free to get that can carry Fox 3s. First one being the F-14A IRAF, and now the JF-17, which is a 13.7 top tier aircraft that is completely free to get. So just keeping that in mind. Some of the things people have said is they don't want a 12.7 minimum F-20, and I agree with this because it barely has countermeasures, a lot of thing. A lot of the other thing people pointed out is adding another aircraft with the Fox 3, like the F6 or the A6F Intruder, which actually was an A6 that was fitted with AMRAAMs. So the people seem to have a very 50-50 side on it. This guy says the F-20 should have historical armament like the AIM-120 because the plane, even though it has no flares, there are a million ways to fight BVR with the F-20. The problem is with your hands are not enough to fly. Just learn to adapt and have fun with what is new, not with what you think is right. F-20 already has its historical armament. AIM-20 was a proposal, which would make it 12.7 in BR. F-20 is better in its current state. So, personally, I say if they add all these other vehicles that get Fox 3s and they're free or they're premiums, it would make sense to give the F-20 its Fox 3s, which is kind of, not ideal, not great, but I personally think that this plane should get the AIM-120. Alright, now on to the next aircraft. The next aircraft we're talking about is Russian, and that is the Su-39. Now, this person was talking about recently devolved into researching the Su-39 and came across some fascinating information. Although it was primarily designed for close air support, I was astonished to discover that the Su-39 was also equipped with the air-to-air combat capabilities. That is I believe that is an R-27 shown in the picture here. However, my excitement wanted when I realized that the representation of the Su-39 in the game, War Thunder, lacks historical accuracy. I found it disappointing that important missile crucial beyond visual range, BVR, such as the R-77, R-27, and R-73 are absent from its armament. The R-73 is actually on the aircraft. I believe it was when it was added. I don't know. When it was first added, I believe it did come with the R-73s. Maybe in the dev they only had it with R-60s, but it came added with the R-73. And the big thing is that if you look here, this is an R-77 for sure, without a doubt. That you can tell from the tail fin. So this is an R-77. You also have your KH-29L, I believe that's what this is, and your Vickers. And this picture right here, talking about its armament, it states only carrying R-27 ER1s and R-27R1s and R-73s, which it already has. So even if it only got added with the R-27, that would make more sense. Also, I want to keep something out in mind. The plane got added to the game with the radar pod. It carries the radar. So adding it without any sort of Fox 1s or Fox 3s just felt extremely, extremely weird from my perspective because, as you can see the pictures, here's it carrying an R-27. Here's it carrying an R-77 and R-73s as its short range. So it definitely has that capabilities and really should get this missile. There's no reason why it really shouldn't. The person really talks about how they should add the historical accuracy of the Su-39 because otherwise it's really just a Su-25T, which is kind of, interesting. Now, this is obviously back before they added the Fox, the R-77, and probably right as they were adding the R-73 on the Su-25BM, but they tested during the Apex Predators dev server on the MiG-29 and found it to be vastly too strong for the current game. Obviously, GAIJIN has now added Fox 3s, so they should definitely add it. As this person showed, here's again it carrying, or the loadout, Libby showed up there, carrying the Vickers, KH-29Ts, KH-25Ls. And again, this list also only has it carrying the R-27R1 and R-27ER1 air-to-air missiles. So even if it doesn't get added with the R-77, there has been enough information to prove that it at least carried Fox 1s. This person says, I personally wouldn't mind the R-73 being added to the Su-25T. Limited things to the tech tree variant seems somewhat reasonable to prevent proliferation and potential BR issues. Again, the Su-25T does have the R-73 at this point. They're talking about some other missiles. They go on to say, I'm not sure about the R-27 and R-77 as they would potentially cause issues due to their performance edge over similar missiles, leading to a pocket fighter ordnance load being optimal and not sufficiently interferes with the A2G load of the airframe, the air-to-ground being the A2G. Su-39 could get R-27 ER1, but can't add KH-58E, KH-31P, or R-17 and R-77 because increased BR to 12.0 or 12.3 and move to rank 8, but rank 7 limit at 11.3. So, I see a lot of people talking about how the R-77 would be too broken and have to result in the aircraft getting bumped up. Personally, I wouldn't mind. I think this plane would be fine at 12.7, maybe 12.3, getting, R-77s. In ground RB, it's already extremely potent. This just makes it more potent. It's in this kind of a similar boat as the F-20. Except the F-20 is actually a fighter. This is a strike fighter that has the ability to carry the R-77 and R-27. I do not understand why it was added as a premium. I also do not understand why it was added to the game already, because the thing that separated this aircraft was the ability to carry Fox 3s and Fox 1s, and clearly GAIJIN has slept on that. I think the big thing was they wanted to see how many people would actually buy an aircraft that had breaking new missiles, because at the time, this was only the second plane that got the R-73. It came, I believe, shortly after the Su-25BM, which was the first aircraft that got the R-73, and so really wouldn't make sense to me, personally. I think there's better options. But it is an aircraft that I think should get the Fox 3s in this next update, or at least in the future. Anyways, on to the last vehicle on the list. Alright, here's the last vehicle on the list, and you could probably guess it already. This is the MiG-21 BIS UPG, or MiG-21 Bison, and it is missing actually a few missiles. Now, coming to the game, it can carry the R-27ER1 and the R-73E, but it can actually carry 4 R-73s, and it actually had R-77s, and GAIJIN didn't give it that capability. Now, this was in recent times. They already had Fox 3s in the game, or it's just the patch that added Fox 3s. And as you see in this picture here, that is an R-77 on the outer pylon that is normally reserved for only the R-73, and that is an R-73 on the inner pylon. So, right away, throwing out GAIJIN's idea of only adding R-27s and 2 R-73s. As you see here, once again, these are R-73s on the outer pylon and R-77s on the inner pylon. Now, it also could get the R-60 and that's, I think, a screenshot of the wiki page of it, but it could carry 6 R-60 right here, AAMs, or 4 R-3R, so it doesn't get added with the correct weapons. Well, that's very disappointing. Now, if it got its 4X R-73 loadout, I could consider it seeing at 12.0, but in its current 12.0 loadout, it's probably not going to be very good coming against 13.0 jets that outclass it in every single way. That is, without the R-77s, as that would put it at 12.3, just like the J-8F. But this plane could very easily go up with the F-20 and the Su-39, because, like I said, it is not a terrible aircraft. Honestly, from a balance perspective, it should go down to 11.7 and stay with the current loadout, as it's not going to be good at 12.0 on such an outdated airform. It's pretty similar to the M2K, which is already 11.7. Now, the MiG-21, I've made a video talking about it and saying how it can't hold its own, but the missiles definitely help, and it actually is not terrible. So, it is definitely an aircraft that should be getting the weapon system. Now, I think this one was for the BIS, possibly. Or also the... Yeah, this is for the BIS, so kind of out of the question. But this one is talking about how the BIS can carry the Fox 3, but we're not going to dive into that, really. Now, they should be giving it the quad R-77 and R-73 loadouts, as it claims it has the same upgrade package as the 2193, which is seen here carrying 4 R-77s. From my understanding, the UPG is just an upgraded version of the 2391, and as you see in the picture here, that is indeed the aircraft carrying, I'm assuming, 4 R-77s. You can't see the other wing, but quad R-77s. It feels like a lot of people think this aircraft is a third-generation fighter, which it is, and so it shouldn't be getting the Fox 3s instead of lower BR, which I can understand. Again, seeing here, you have R-73s on the inner pylon. Once again, really proving the fact that it could carry 4 R-73s, and GAIJIN has not given it that capability, which is kind of upsetting. I mean, a lot of pictures here really, showing off its weapon suit. And you hear another picture, R-77 on the outside, and that's unfortunate. Honestly, those really are the 3 aircraft that need to come or get their missiles systems or missiles added, because they're all planes that should already have them. I mean, there's plenty of evidence going around or out there that shows for at least the Su-39 and the MiG-21 BIS UPG that they do have, in fact, have the active radar homing missiles like the R-77. There's pictures of them on the aircraft. And in terms for the F-20, technically it never did carry them live, but it did have the upgrade to carry them before the program was scrapped. And so it would honestly just make sense to give it to it. Overall, I mean, the Su-39 would get 2 R-77s, 2 R-73s, and that's it. And so 4 missiles total. The MiG-21 UPG should be able to carry 4 R-77s, or 2 and 2, 2 R-73s, 2 R-77s. Or if you want to mix it up, bring R-3Rs, R-60s. But none of those missiles are even on the plane, even though it does have them, which is very unusual to me personally. And then for the F-20, it would continue with the AIM-9L, which is not a very good. It lacks IRCCM, unlike the R-73, which is found on the Bison or the Su-39, and the F-20 would get 4 AMRAAMs and 2 AIM-9Ls, so 6 missiles total, which is 2 more than either other of the other 2 platforms. But like I said, the non-IRCCM on the AIM-9Ls really kind of doesn't even it out, but does at the same time. So overall, I could see these aircraft coming to the game, or getting added correctly, and maybe going up in BR to 12.7. I mean, 12.7, 13.0. I mean, I can see it. I think it's something that they need to do. Otherwise, these aircraft just are a lot like what they already have in the tech tree. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I mean, like I said really many times, that with GAIJIN adding the free Fox 3 aircraft, there's no reason not to add Fox 3s to the premiums, as we're just now at that era. But yeah, like I said, let me know down below. Discord will be linked as usual. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We're trying to hit 2K before the end of the year. And as always, make sure to stay awesome, stay cool, and I'll catch you guys